Hello everyone, welcome to another Just Ask Answered video. Again, another amazing question. I'm not sure I can, it's a two-part question and I'm not sure I can answer the first part, so we'll get cards on that. But the question was too long again for me to put it in the title, so here it is. How do you know what the lesson is when many things are presented in a situation? And how do you know you have healed from it? Okay, so how you know you've healed from it is because it no longer has an effect on you. When you're able to release it and it no longer affects you, meaning it doesn't bring up those old emotions, those old thoughts with it. You just stop reliving it. Basically, when you've healed from something, it stops coming up to the surface to be relived. And it no longer affects you. And that can be in many ways, because sometimes we have deep-rooted belief systems from childhood. And Jack Canfield says that these deep-rooted issues usually are from between the age of 3 and 8. So if we go back to, do a meditation that takes you back to what the first time was that you felt like you weren't good enough, or you felt like you weren't loved, whatever it is. And your mind, your inner being, will take you back to that point in time, and you'll see it in your mind's eye. And that'll be the time that belief was created within you. You might not even know that you have it. You might not even remember the experience that created it. But all you have to do is recognize it and let it go. It just goes. Just see it, recognize it for what it is and the effect it had on you, and it's done. It's over. And so what you will know about the healing of it is it won't have the same effect on you as it was having. So some of you out there have, probably a lot of you out there, myself included, have financial issues. And sometimes that's connected to a childhood belief system that was put in place by our parents, by things like hearing all the time, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work really hard to make money, and you're never going to have more than you need, or you only have wealth if you deserve it, if you behave, if you be good, if you all these things. So as adults, we don't realize sometimes that that's what's in us, that's what's in our energy. And that in itself creates a real self-worth issue. So if you feel like you have a self-worth issue, go into a meditation and take yourself back. You can find meditations on YouTube that will take you back to issues, underlying issues from your childhood, and it'll be guided, so it'll help you open up to what it is you need to look for. But I think Jack Canfield is right, because every time I do that, I'm taken back to when I'm right around the 6-year-old mark. And there were a lot of things just because of the era and the way of thinking back then that created issues within my energy, so to speak. And if you're not even conscious of it, but it's in your subconscious, then you're not going to be aware of it, but it is still in your energy. Now, that being said, Abraham Hicks says that if you have issues, you do not have to go back and rework things and heal things and relive them and do all that, because your inner being knows that if that's resistance for you on your path, your inner being knows it's going to be resistance. It knows where it's going to show up, what it's going to be, and how to steer you around it. Your inner being will create a detour around it so that it doesn't have the effect, the negative effect. So you know, everybody has to make their own decisions. I like to go back and see where the issues stem from, because for me, that also allows me to have a better understanding of why my mom said that, or why my dad did what he did, and to be able to forgive, because I think forgiving is really important in being able to let go of things that hurt you as a child that you have been hanging on to for several years. Gaining the understanding of why it happened in the first place, that's big. For me, everybody's different. Hey. Sorry guys, I'm looking after my son's dogs, and this little guy's just not used to the noise that is around me here. So let's draw cards now. Hopefully that answered that question for you. How do you know what the lesson is when many things are presented in a situation? How do we know, angels? Let's grab this deck here. It may be that you have several things present, but you can, depending on what they are, maybe they can be combined into one lesson. It's like self-worth. That's a pretty big category. And a lot of things fit into that, such as guilt. If you have guilt about anything, that can fit into self-worth. Because if you feel guilty about having something that somebody else doesn't, that means you have low self-worth. You're not feeling you're deserving of it, right? So that's one way to look at it. Let's see what Spirit says. How do we know when several things are presented what the lesson is? Spirit, please and thank you. Thank you, angels. We have the Five of Pentacles. If you notice the way this person is sitting here in the artwork, they're not able to see clearly. So this is telling me meditation, because for starters, when you meditate, you open yourself up to messages from your inner guidance system, your inner being, spirit, whatever you want to call it, however you want to look at it. And that will help you to transform the situation, to move out of it. That's why the butterfly is there. But this person doesn't see that it's a transformative time. All life lessons that come through to us, all situations that teach us something, all situations teach us something, that's my belief. But if we're not open to hearing the messages that are coming through with it, or seeing what that lesson is, we're not going to transform from it. And the Five of Pentacles is all about, well, the general meaning or definition of it is financial strife. It also can represent lacking attention, being rejected, being shoved aside. Try not to go down that road. When life lessons generally tend to be things that sometimes they're pleasing things as well, but the lessons tend to be not as pleasing. And sometimes what we do is we find ourselves moving into that. And don't take this as judgment, please, because I still do it sometimes. We all do. It's part of the human in us. we start to go down that victim mentality road. And that's what this person is doing. Rather than getting up and fighting for what they want when something goes wrong, they sit down and cover their eyes. They don't want to see what's presented. See what's there. When you're in a negative situation, look it square in the eyes. See what it is for what it is, and see it for what it is, and deal with it. Know that it's just a lesson. It's something that's there to help you move forward, and see it as such. But also, get clear. Meditate. That's how your answers come to you from your inner guidance system. When you meditate, you free up the resistant thought. And when you free up the resistant thoughts and you don't have them while you're in meditation, that allows your vibration to rise. And when your vibration rises, it comes up to within proximity of your inner guidance system. Because your inner being, your soul, vibrates at a very high level. That's why it's called high consciousness, a higher consciousness, right? Because it vibrates way up here. So if you're down here in this, oh me, oh my, you can't connect. You're not getting the answers. You're not going to know what's coming or how to deal with it. The next card out. Nice. The Queen of Pentacles. This is, take a look at her. She has jammed herself into a human-sized tree trunk that's hollow. She is grounded beyond belief. Nothing is blowing her over. No storm, no wind, no nothing. Look at the enlightenment, clarity, beauty. And right at her heart chakra, she's lit up like a tree. Go within. Get grounded too. If you're grounded when negative situations take place, it's so easy for us to fall back into the old egoic way of thinking and feeling, and that unplugs us from our inner being instantly, because we drop down again, and we need to rise up to connect with our inner being and get the guidance and the answers that we need. Your inner being knows the lesson that you're needing to learn every time you go through something. So going within, go within. Allow your inner being to give you the enlightenment and the clarity that you're looking for. So get grounded. That helps. Because what that means is you're not wobbling. Your energy is not wobbling. You're grounded, you're standing tall, you're strong. You're not allowing the situation or the negativity of it, or the negative thoughts and emotions to knock you over, to pull you under. Let's see if we can get one more card from the Synchronicity deck. What else can we tell everyone, angels? Please and thank you. Okay, that was fast. 811. When I created this deck, I had a whole bunch of numbers that I was seeing on a very regular basis, and I wanted to know what they meant. So I asked my inner being, my guides, what each and every number meant, and this is what 811 meant. On path and about to realize manifestation. So what this says to me is, when we go through those periods where we're being taught something in order to clear up something in our world so we can move forward, that's what it's all about. It's to put you on path. Life lessons generally happen when we are veering off our path. Your inner being kind of gives you an elbow to the rib cage and goes, whoa, 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 back over here. This is your path. It's taking you to a manifestation, something that you've wanted to create, something you wanted to manifest in your world. So don't let it get you down. Look at it as something that, oh, thank you for putting me back on path, inner being, whatever you call it, God, spirit, because that's what's happening. Don't let it deplete you. I know sometimes that's easier said than done. Some of these life lessons that come in for us can be brutal and heavy duty. I do get that. But know that they are here to move you towards your manifestations, the things that you really want. Your inner being knows everything you want and exactly how to get you from point A to point B. So allow yourself to be guided by those life lessons. Know that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. When you come out of whatever the situation is that is creating that opportunity for a life lesson for you, it will be brighter. It will be lighter and brighter, and you will have raised your vibration to some degree, and you will be rewarded with something wonderful. You always are. We always are. And not to mention, you've learned a very valuable life lesson along the way that's going to carry you that much further. It's going to carry you to the next manifestation, and then a life lesson, and then the next manifestation. It's all very, very good. It's for the betterment of all of us. So I hope that answered your question, and I hope it helped. Thank you so much to everyone for being here and for asking. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.